Welcome to LPV Racing. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, and we hope you enjoy the content that you're about to see. LPV GT3 Sprint Series Round 4 Race 1 from Watkins Glen in the USA. Hi everyone, and welcome back to LPV Racing for the LPV GT3 Sprint Series on Project Cars 2. This is round 4 of the season, which is at Watkins Glen in USA. So we are going to go through the grid for the first race for you now. So onto the drone and looking at the grid when it lets us, and I'm going to fly around. So it is Tim on pole position, and a lot of people choosing the McLaren this time round. So it's the McLaren of Tim on pole position, then after qualifying, extra point for him. Woo Woo is second, a good second place for him. He's in the Acura. Woo Woo in second. Then we've got TY, the return of TY, and better internet connection this time for TY. So hopefully much more better results for him, because he can actually stay in the race. So he's third position on the grid, and he's covering for Growley, who unfortunately can't make this race. So he's teammates with Nifty Dart Ninja. Bert in fourth. He's a teammate of Tim again, because Tim's covering for Twerdy. I should have pointed that out earlier, guys. And then under the bridge, we've got Blake in fifth, Darren in sixth, and then Blake, I should point out as well, Blake is running on his own here because unfortunately Will couldn't make it, so his driver's points will be doubled for one round only. Darren in sixth, Nifty Dart Ninja seventh in the other Renault, and then we've got Scott in eighth, with Pash in 9th, Neil is in 10th, and we've got Bidster at the back in 11th. So Bidster at the back in 11th, and now we're going to go and get on with the race. So watching Tim from pole position, and revs pick up, and we are off here at Watkins Glen for race 1. Down towards turn 1 we go. Looks like the middle of the pack is where the action is. As you look to the middle of the pack, there's Blake with, Darren having a look down the inside, but no way through for him. Nifty Dart Ninja tries to come up alongside him as well. We've got Darren and Nifty side by side into the fast right hand, and Nifty going out wide to give him room, and then comes back across. He's lost control of the car. He's off on the inside, and he hits the barrier. Stop the car! Oh my word, that was so close to hitting Bidster there. Pash is off as well. He's been off at the first corner, and he avoids Nifty as well. But into the chicane we go, and it's TY in third place. We've got Tim in the lead. Woo Woo second. Cars off in the background. Cars off everywhere. Blake's off, and we can't get the camera on him. There you are. Blake's gone off at the chicane, so Blake's had an off there. Bidster moves up, and Woo Woo's off as well. Woo Woo's off, and it's all happened on lap 1. Well, when does it not happen on lap 1? It all happens as everyone's close together, but into the next corner. Scott makes a mistake, and Neil hits him on the inside. Scott has been struggling all weekend with a lot of lag, so unfortunately he gets tapped round there, and Neil Farmack then hits him round. But onwards, Tim and Bert then leading a 1-2 for Team Bert D Ski. They are in the first and second positions there. Darren is up to third. A good start for him this race. Darren in third. Then we've got Neil Farmack and Bidster, they've really benefited from this, starting from 10th and 11th on the grid and absolutely hounding through the field, 4th and 5th, avoiding all the other incidents. And TY's gone down to 7th as well. He's had some kind of a half spin somewhere. He's alongside Blake side by side out the corner. TY on the outside and takes the position. Blake backs off on the inside. Blake taking a lot of curb in that McLaren though. Everyone choosing the McLaren for this one because it's a very, very stable car, and it's good through these faster corners. Across the line then, Tim in the lead, Bert second, Darren third. That's your top three. They've got Neil fourth and Bidster in fifth. TY is down in sixth with Blake right behind him into the first corner. I thought TY was going a bit deep then, but he's okay. Meanwhile up ahead, Neil and Bidster and Neil have swapped places. Bidster gets a good run on Neil and takes fourth place. Runs very wide though. Got to be careful not doing that too much. But very close there. Meanwhile, back in the pack we've got TY, Blake and Pash closing up to the back of these boys as well. All very close. Into the chicane we go. Into the chicane. Very, very fast chicane. This Blake runs on. Blake goes in too hot again over the grass. Pash will look for the inside. Blake realises he's there at the last minute and sort of turns himself into the wall. Either that or he had a massive snap, but the replays on Project Cars don't really show the details in the physics very well, so we can't really tell if it's a slide or a genuine mistake half the time. But down the hill we go. Bidster then in fourth. Don't forget we've got the leaders Tim and that up ahead, but we're just watching this battle because it's probably the closest cars on track at the moment. TY doing well in the Renault, and he's come back, so he's had bad internet for probably the last month or so. He's not been able to get on and do much racing with us at all. He's had to sort of come out of championships and that, but hopefully he's got some kind of remedy in place for his internet, and hopefully that will help things out, and the forces of TY should be back within LPB racing. We hope so. We've got fingers crossed for him. Blake at the back. Scott's further back as well. Scott, you can't tell it from the replay, but Scott has been struggling with lag all weekend. Absolutely really bad lag, and it's only him that you can see his car doing it there a bit. See, it's just twitching. It's just not doing what it's supposed to, and unfortunately that's led to a few incidents with people, but there's nothing that Scott can help with. He's a good clean racer, but can't be helped with the internet connection, and hopefully he'll find a remedy for that at some point. So Tim then in the lead. Tim in the lead in the white and black with the orange tint McLaren, when it is Bert in second place, his teammate. They are quite far ahead of the field, but Bert's got pressure from Darren. Darren is pressuring him. So the two brothers, Bert and Darren, they are brothers, and Darren's on a different team, so he'll try and get close to Bert, and it'll be good to see a nice little battle between them. Bidster in fourth. He's pulling away from these lot now. So Bidster is putting his foot down here, and he's trying to close up to the guys ahead. Neil Farmack is behind him there in fifth in the Acura, and then it is TY in sixth. Pash is seventh. We've got Blakeney down in eighth now. He's actually been caught by Scott. So Scott Dog Woof, so Scott we call him, he's actually catching Blake here, so we'll have to see what happens later on, because Scott's done a 47 and Blake's done a 48 last time round, so a mistake for Blake there. Looks like he's gone down the field a bit, so not good news for him. And Woo Woo down in 10th. He had that spin at the start, and Nifty Dark Ninja's gone back down. Obviously had that major incident at the start as well, but they are starting to climb back up, these boys, so it's not over yet for these lads at the back, so anything's possible still. Pash going through in 7th. This circuit is a very, very old circuit. It is used to be used back in the Formula 1 days, back in the 70s. Very, very challenging track, and it was quite a dangerous track because it's the speeds and going into these 90-degree corners. And if your brakes fail, you've had it. Well, through the corner we go. Pash nicely through there, and it looks like let's have a look at the lap times then. So we've got Tim on a 44.1 in the lead, 45.4 for his teammate Bert, and Darren 45.7, 43.6 for Bidster. He's on the move again. Bidster on the move, and through the chicane, perfect lines there from Bids, and Neil also brilliant lines through there, sliding the car a bit, trying to push hard. And also TY, 45.8 in the Renault. He's trying to push hard, but he's made a little mistake there. He's ran wide, but hopefully he'll get that back. And down the hill we go, and into the corner. Blake there, back there with Scott, still 1.8 behind him. Woo Woo and Nifty trying to close up at the back as well, but at the moment, Bidster and Neil are the ones on the move. Bidster 43.6 last time round, catching these guys in front by 2 seconds a lap, if he can keep up the pace, that is. And through the corner we go, sliding his way out. There's Darren, the man he's chasing, who was also chasing Bert, but Bert's got a good gap here. Bert's got a very good gap, and it's going to be hard for him to close that down as we go through the corner and out to the last corner, in using a little bit of the camber on the inside, get the power on the way out and under the bridge and across the line. That is going to be start of lap 5 of this race, and we might as well get some replays in of the first half action for you now. Here's the replays of the first half of the race. Okay, here's the first of the replays then on board with Bidster. Watch Pash on the inside, into the corner, there's no contact, he just gets on the power and on the camber, and round he goes, loses control of the car, and that's him recovering from 11th. Now watch ahead, Nifty Dark Ninja and Darren are about to go together. See the two cars go together, well, they don't hit each other, but then, whoa, he just had to avoid Nifty there as he spins round. Then we go back on board with Pash as he comes over the hill, then all of a sudden there's a Renault in the middle of the track, and luckily he sees it and manages to get ahead, but that's what caused Nifty Dark Ninja to go right to the back. And now here's the replay of what happened to Woo and TY. Watch Woo's car slides, and TY does the exact same thing as Blake goes off exit stage left as well, and they both make the exact same mistake at the same time, and then they've both got to try and recover, but they've lost all these positions now. And here's a quick look at what happened to Blake. Watch his car into the corner, and it just turns right and it doesn't turn left, and bang, into the wall he goes, and then he's got to turn the car around and recover. And here's a replay on board with Neil Farmack to look at him and Scott on lap 1, so into the next corner. Watch, there's no contact, but with brake, Scott actually lags, as you can't see there, and it ends up spinning around, and Neil can't go anywhere, and then both cars in the middle of the track, and now Scott's facing the wrong way with traffic coming towards him. He sensibly moves the car out the way and then tries to get the car turned round, and he does so very, very well indeed. But then he recovers and hits Woo Woo into the wall, which is not good, and then now he's continuing to race him down the hill, which he's not on, but he needs to let Woo Woo go here. And yes, he does there eventually, but that was a bit sensible at first, but then it was a bit dangerous by Scott. Here's a quick other angle from Woo Woo's car. As he comes around the corner, he sees Scott there, and then all of a sudden it's coming towards us, and then bang, into the wall. Scott should have stayed well more to the left there, should have stayed really close to the grass until he knew we were on this straight, and then he could have got going. But then Woo Woo does end up taking 9th place, but he had to fight for it. And now back to the race. As we come back from that, Darren then still in 3rd place, trying to catch up to Burt and Bidsder, trying to catch up to them both. 44.6 that time round for Bidsder, so he probably got his tyres a bit too warm when he was trying to catch the others on the other lap, so 1 lap to cool them down a little bit and then 1 lap to push. So we'll see how he goes. But Tim, meanwhile, 6-second lead over his teammate, pulling away at the front. This man he's only had his second. This is only his 2nd round in LPB racing, and he's making it look easy. He's looking for 3 wins in 2 rounds here. Absolutely incredible performance here by Tim, and proving himself to be a future champion, I think. But we'll have to see how that goes. There's Darren in 3rd. Here he goes, Darren through the corner. How close is Bidsder? There's Bidsder. He's close. He's still closing up to him. So still closing the gap down. And let's have a look further back. We've got Blake there in 8th. Scott is in 9th. And then we've got Woo Woo catching up to the back of Scott now as well, as we go through the left-hander. I should have pointed out as well at the start, guys, I forgot to mention this, I do apologise, but Scott is the teammate of Bidsder. So Scott is the new teammate for Bidsder, because unfortunately Intrepid has had to pull out of Thursdays due to family circumstances. So Scott is now the replacement for the end of this season on Project Cars, and Scott is replacing Intrepid. So new teammate, and he's just got to sort out this connection problem that he's got with Project Cars, but we'll see how it goes. But it did cause a few little incidents earlier on, so we'll see how he gets on with it. But just looking to see now if you can see the actual lag on the car. You can't really see it too much at the minute. It must have settled down a bit, but it spikes when there's a lot of cars close by. And through the corner we go, nice and steady through there for him as well. Meanwhile, Bidsder is 1.3 seconds behind Darren. He's closing the gap. 45 together, 45s on that lap, so Bidsder's tyres must be overheating a little bit. Either that or he's just backed off the pace a little bit, and he'll try towards the end. But we'll see what happens as we go down the straight. So it's a lot of McLarens in this race. TY and Nifty have chosen to use the Renault, the RS01. They've chosen to use that one this time round. So gone different to see if it makes any difference, because the Renault is quite a good car around the corners. You wouldn't believe it compared to the real life cars, but they are. Oh, TY goes off there. Bit of an off for TY, bit of a mistake, and that's not going to help him. That's going to put him back towards the hands of Blake, and a 152 last time round for TY, so he has lost time there. He's gone down to 7th. Pash is in 6th, so he's lost time there, and he's got to be careful, otherwise he'll have Blake all over the back of him in a few laps as the marshal brings the flag in there on the inside. So did someone have a little off ahead? I'm not sure, but I don't think they did. But meanwhile, Bidsder and Darren still trying to close up to each other. And also further back as well, we've got Scott and Woo Woo. Woo Woo is right on the back of Scott here, looking for a way through. There he is, there's the Acura right behind the McLaren. Woo Woo, we know how fast he is. He's won races in LPB racing. It's only his first full season with us, and he's already making an impact. He's already in the top 5 of the championship, so he's definitely making himself known. And through the corner we go, and out the other side. Woo trying to get a past Scott. Doesn't look like it on the camera, but there was a lot of lag coming from Scott's car as he goes on the inside. Up over the curb, very aggressive line there from Scott. And then into the corner. And the aggressive line, look, let's see, he uses that aggressive line and gains a little bit of time. So good job by Scott there, just got to keep pushing. Lap 7 of 11 here at Watkins Glen. And Bidster is right behind Darren now. 7 tenths is the gap, and you can see the gap there. He's pushing sideways through the chicane. Neil Farmack's trying to keep with him, but nice lines from there from Neil as well. Very good chicane there. Very smooth is the word I'm looking for. But now Bidster is right behind Darren, and he's got now. I think he's catching up is one thing, passing is quite another. So he comes out the corner. Marshall loves to wave that green flag as we go through the corner and into the bottom hill and use the camber power on the way out. This McLaren really loves taking these fast corners. It's not the quickest car in a straight line, but it is a very good in the corners, a very stable car as well. And with a stable car that's easy to drive, means it helps out the driver. Meanwhile, Blake and TY are very close as well. 3 tenths, 5 tenths now the gap from TY to, there he is, Blake trying to get him on the inside, but TY goes wide. To TY's made some more mistakes there. And meanwhile, Scott and Woo are having a nice little battle further back as well, as the camera doesn't pick them up. There we go, at the corner, and they're close as well. So plenty of battles to watch in these last few laps here that we've got at Watkins Glen. Back to Bidster and Darren. Darren's pulled away from him. Bidster must have made a tiny little mistake somewhere. So Darren edges out the gap a little bit more there. As TY and Blake still together. TY ahead of Blake, but Blake still applying the pressure. Blake's been trying to catch him. TY's gone backwards. A few little mistakes from him has not helped his situation. Out of the last corner, across the line. Power is on. Blake's in the draft. Will he ever go down to turn 1? I don't think he's close enough to have a go. He's not. Brakes. And TY goes down the inside and has to take a narrow line. Blake's going to get a good run out the corner here, but he's not quite close enough. Meanwhile, back up to Darren and Bidster. Bidster's trying to catch up to Darren again, but Darren again very smooth through the corner, and Bidster makes a little mistake on the way out in the background there and loses another couple of tenths. So this is not helping him, but they are catching Bert. Bert 46.0 last time round, and Darren and Bidster in the 45s. So they are catching Darren. So they are catching Bert, sorry, so that could make a big difference. TY and Blake. Blake makes a little mistake there in the background. He's off into the wall. Blake goes off into the wall, makes a mistake, spins the car back round, and now Scott's going to come through here. Yeah, there you go. Scott goes through, and you can see his car lagging a bit more there, and Woo goes through as well. Blake down to 10th. But there's Scott's car. There's the lag that we were talking about. He almost went into the wall there, and very strange things. And you can see the car sort of drifting around the corner as, yeah, the lag's very bad there on Scott's vehicle, so we'll have to get that sorted for next round, otherwise that will really affect the racing, and we've got to think about all the other members in here, not just the new one. But yeah, look, see, that's what everyone saw in the race, the car hopping and bouncing all over the place, and hopefully that will be addressed. Tim, meanwhile, lap 9 out of 11, 8.5 seconds to 9 seconds in the lead of this race. Absolutely insane, pulling away. But meanwhile, his teammate is coming under pressure from Darren and Bert, because Darren and Bidster, sorry, because Darren has got Bidster right behind him. Bidster gets a good run out the corner. Will he go down the inside? No, he's not going to. So Bert needs to get a move on here, because he's got Darren and Bidster both closing him down. But if the battle enrages between Bidster and Darren, that might help Bert out. There's Bert. There's Darren and Bids down the straight. Bidster, will he have a look into the chicane? Drafting, has a look, moves back. Darren defends the inside. He defends the inside, but that's going to affect his run out the corner, but he holds on to it. Good defensive job there by Darren. Bidster again gets very close down the inside. Darren leaves the gap on the inside. Bidster trying to get his car in there, and he's trying to, but Darren holds on around the outside, and now he's got the inside to defend into the next left-hander. Bidster now has got to try and use his head and try and get past Darren. Tries to go for a good run out the corner, squirming the car out the corner, and can't get a good enough run. Darren holds on to his third place, but for how long? Because Bidster is hounding the pressure on now, but Darren doing a very good defensive job so far. Very good defensive job. But up the hill we go. Bidster moves out. Now's his chance. But he gets a good run up the hill. He gets a very good run. He's on the inside now. Darren onto the brakes, into the right-hander, and Bidster goes through. Can he hold it on the inside? Whoa! That's a massive slide, and Darren comes back up the inside. Bidster puts the power on too early, and has a bit of a wobble there, gets a bit too overexcited, and Darren goes through again. Bidster trying to get back down the outside, Darren defending the inside, no way through. Neil Farmack's closing on these two as well now, because they're battling. Darren defends the inside again into the last corner, making sure there's no room for Bids. Bids could go for a run out the corner here, but Darren gets a fantastic run, uses all the curb and everything. Brilliant stuff here as we go across the line. Bids are now drafting down towards turn 1. Will he have a go on the inside? No, he's not going to bother there. Darren holds on. Oh, bit of a twitch into the corner there. Bids is going to carry an overspeed. Can he get through? But no, he can't, because the next bit you can't really go side by side through unless you want to visit your own grave early. But up and over the top of the hill and onto the drafting down the straight now. Together down the straight. Bidster again, will he go for a move into the chicane? I don't think he's close enough. He'll try and put the pressure on there. Darren goes sharp into the corner again, defends the inside, but again holds on to the position. Brilliant stuff there from Darren as Bidster looks down the inside. I'm not too bothered about some slight cuts at the chicane, because it is hard to judge that chicane, so a few little cuts are not too bad as long as it's not a major cut. But Darren doing well there to hold on, so Bidster still can't get past Darren, and look where Neil is. Neil's closing up with every wheel turn. Darren goes wide, hits the wall, taps the wall, goes on the grass, and Bidster is left with an open invitation and does not ask twice. He goes straight through into 3rd position, and now Darren's got Neil to worry about. Bidster will try and get his head down, trying to catch Bert now if he can, but Darren now has got to try and stick with Bidster or try and keep Neil off, or should I say, and keep Neil off. Further back we've got a few cars close together. We've got Woo Woo in 8th, TY in 9th. TY's gone back down to 9th. He's made some mistakes there, and Scott's at the head of this field. The laggy Scott at the head of the field. So Woo Woo's gone back past TY. TY's made some errors. 152.2 last time round for TY. That'll explain it. He's made a mistake somewhere, and he's now back with Blake. And up the hill we go. Scott ahead. Woo Woo, TY and Blake all together. Approaching the last lap. Every point counts in the championship, so they'll all fight as hard as they can for position. TY's just trying to make up the team effort for Growly Ninja here. And he was going to run as an independent, but he's just helping out with the teams because Growly couldn't make it today as Scott lags through the corner. And up goes off the track and back on. And into the last lap we go. Scott goes close to the wall. That might have just been the lag though. Tim on his last lap though, he's halfway around his last lap already, 10 seconds ahead of his teammate. Incredible performance here by Tim, the German driver, and absolutely a brilliant race so far for him. He's just got to survive this last half a lap. There's his teammate Bert, and Bidster's trying to close him down, but I don't think Bidster's got enough time left. He's got to make up 2 seconds in the space of half a lap. Not even the great Ayrton Senna could do that, I don't think. But having said that, how dare I doubt Ayrton Senna? Of course he could, but it's still a very hard thing to do unless Bert makes a mistake here. I do think the gap is a bit too far, but we'll see how things go. There's Darren in 4th. When we get to him, when it shows us, there we go. Look, Neil's right behind him now. He's going for it. He looks like he might be setting him up for a move here. Into the right hander. Will Neil go down the inside? He goes down the inside. He's trying to have a look, but no. Darren holds on, closes the door, no way through. But meanwhile, Tim Manovsky is about to come around the last corner to take victory here at Watkins Glen. He wins race 1. Lights flash. Congratulations, Tim. He wins race 1 here at Watkins Glen. Brilliant and brilliantly controlled race by the German, and very well done indeed. Bert is going to be second to make it a 1-2 for the team. Fantastic race there by Bert. Makes it a 1-2 for team Bert D-Ski. Well done. Bidster in 3rd. A good recovery from the back of the grid and good fighting through the field as well as Darren and Neil crossed the line with Darren just ahead of Neil. Fantastic finish there between the two of them, and Darren keeps hold of his position. Pash is in 6th. Woo Woo is around here somewhere. He's got past Scott, so Scott's had an off somewhere or something's happened, but Woo Woo goes through into 7th, and he's about to cross the line in 7th position. Down through the last corner and powering on in the Acura to a solid 7th after having an incident at the first lap. So through in 7th goes Woo Woo. Scott in 8th. 9th is Blake with TY following behind in 10th. And Nifty Nart Ninja is going to be in 11th place. So not a good race for that team in the Renault. So guys, we'll just now go to the replays of the second half, followed by the results. Here's the replays of the second half of the race. Okay, here's the first replay of the second half then. This is TY losing control of his car into the left-hander. See, the rear end just goes round and he just loses rear grip into the wall. Luckily not to go and collect Pash as he goes through, but Pash goes through safely into 6th place and TY is down in 7th. Okay, here's the very strange incident that happened on lap 7. Watch Scott's car ahead. His car lags, you can't see it from the replay, but there, but it's like bang, it's like Woo-Woo hit him, but it was lag, and Scott is left in the wall, and unfortunately then Woo-Woo goes through, but Woo-Woo lets him go back through because he feels guilty about it, but he didn't really have to because that was just lag, you can't help lag, and Scott goes back through into 9th place, so very, very strange coming there. Okay, now here's a replay of T1 on lap 10. He makes a mistake here and loses 2 places. At the corner on the curb, back end just goes wild and bang. Ricochets off the wall, he's lost speed. Then now as he gets going here, he leaves room. Scott goes through, a bit of contact, but that was the lag, I think. And then up the hill, Woo-Woo carries his speed and goes round the outside of TY. Brilliant move there from Woo-Woo, and then he goes into 8th place. TY is left down in 9th position. Okay, here's an on-board with Scott looking at a move that Woo-Woo made on the last lap. So there, Woo-Woo's coming alongside us. Into the chicane we go, and Scott gives his room, and Woo-Woo goes right around the outside of Scott. Brilliant move there, and you don't see moves like that at the chicane very often. Then Scott bounces off the wall there, and Blake's gone back round in the background. So and TY's had an off as well. So we'll get that looked at in a minute. And now here's a look at Blake and T1 in the last lap as well. They were going side by side, but it didn't quite end as well for them. Into the corner we go, and TY exits stage right, and Blake exits stage left, and almost recovered the car, then goes smack bang into the wall. TY's gone round the other way as well. Then they both recover, and they're almost side by side again. Incredible, you couldn't write it if you tried. Side by side again through the corner. Blake on the inside, T1 on the outside, and Blake takes the position. A bit of a long-winded way of doing it, but absolutely brilliant move there from Blake, and you could not have written that better. And here's the final replay, looking at how close Neil and Darren's finish was. Darren defends the inside into the last corner. Neil tries to get a good run around the outside, but Darren's done just enough to hold on, but then Neil gets back in the draft and across the line, and then the gap is that at the line. Not much at all. Fantastic finish by them two as well. That was the replays of the second half of the race. Now let's take you to the results from race 1. So here we go then, and the winner is Tim. You can't see him on that picture because it only let me take the picture of the last one, but Tim wins the race. Well done to Tim, and behind him was Bert, quite a way far behind, but Bert gets his best position in LPV racing. Well done to him. Third for Bidster with Darren in 4th. We've got Neil Farmack in 5th position with Pash in 6th. Woo-Woo finishes in 7th with Scott in 8th. Blakeney finishes 9th, TY is down in 10th place, not a good race for him, or Nifty in 11th as well. As we come back from that, your winner there is Tim in the McLaren. Fantastic win there for Tim. Brilliant race overall by everyone as well. I know there was quite a few incidents in that race, especially in the first half, but everything got sorted out in the end, and it was a good race, and Tim won that race. Well done to Tim. And we will see you guys next time for race 2 here around Watkins Glen. We'll see you then, guys. Take care. Thank you for watching the race there by LPV Racing. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content in the future. And next time it's going to be the GT3 Sprint Series Round 4 Race 2 from Watkins Glen. More sunshine and more action. We'll see you then.